I hate eating every 2 hours, and I encounter so many people that do as well. It's boring, it's lame. You have to devote your entire life to living out of Tupperware. You almost become a prisoner to your own physique. You're a prisoner to what you want to accomplish with your body. Now, I did this video because I want to talk a little bit about something that I do from time to time, and that's intermittent fasting. I've been getting an overwhelming amount of emails and messages asking me to do a video on intermittent fasting. So here we are. I'm going to dive into 2 different kinds of intermittent fasting that you can do, and they're geared towards specific types of people. So you may not have to just completely abide by one general rule of intermittent fasting. You may be able to apply a couple of different ones. Now, the thing is we've all come from this school of thought that we need to eat every 2 hours. The reasoning behind it, that thought process, is that we want to keep those glucose levels higher, we want to keep the amino acid levels and the nitrogen balance higher so that we don't catabolize, so that we don't break down muscle tissue. So we're always eating. Well, the thing is, just like everything in science, we are always evolving. We're always learning things. And we're starting to learn over the course of the last 5 or 6 years that 2-hour window that we have to eat at may not be the end-all be-all. So I hope that this video teaches you some good little tricks. So I'm going to dive right into the benefits of intermittent fasting before I get in to the 2 different kinds. Okay, so the general idea behind intermittent fasting, or at least what people think the general idea is that by reducing your calorie intake, by reducing those glucose levels, by reducing the glycogen stores in your muscles, you're allowing your body to start tapping into fat stores a little bit more efficiently. Well, that does make sense, but it only makes sense for a short amount of time. You see, your body isn't just magically going to start breaking down fat tissue. A lot of times your body's going to want to start breaking down muscle tissue and protein into basically what's called gluconeogenesis, which is a fancy way of saying protein breakdown into sugar. So it's not magical. It's not like you just stop eating and your body starts burning fat. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of people walking around that are ripped because a lot of us simply don't eat. Basically, the benefit of intermittent fasting more so comes from the secretion of human growth hormone. Now, I want to focus this video mostly on that HGH secretion because that is such a big component of intermittent fasting. Now, there are a multitude of different reasons why intermittent fasting is great and why it's great to do from time to time. But human growth hormone really seems to be the main one that applies to those that are trying to get in the best possible shape or at least live a nice, healthy lifestyle. So here we go. So let me tell you a little bit about human growth hormone and how it works. So human growth hormone is secreted by the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is a gland up in the brain that controls a lot of these master functions in the body, especially when it has to do with recovery or has to do with cell growth or cell regeneration or muscle growth. You see, when you were an adolescent, when you were going through puberty, when you were hitting the gym, when you were in high school, middle school, you remember how you could put on muscle like crazy and you'd recover, you wouldn't get that sore, and you'd bounce up the next morning ready to go? Well, a lot of that had to do with the fact that you had higher levels of growth hormone being secreted by the pituitary. It was triggering those bones to grow. It was triggering the muscle to grow. It was doing everything you wanted it to do. Well, those levels start to decline as we age naturally. So if we have higher levels of human growth hormone, it's only natural that we would have higher levels of lean body mass and lower levels of body fat. In fact, they've been clinically associated with each other. So I want to explain how intermittent fasting can help with your growth hormone levels. Because hormones vary with their secretion throughout the day. We're not always at this constant pedal to the metal with all of our hormones. Our bodies are really good. That biological clock that is basically inherent is always working. It's always changing things. And those growth hormone levels are not always constantly high. They surge, they spike. But if we learn how to eat to manipulate that, we can really allow ourselves a lot more in the way of progress. So basically, our growth hormone levels are at their highest first thing in the morning. The reason they're at their highest first thing in the morning? Because we've been fasting. We haven't been flooding our body with food. We haven't been flooding our body with glucose. So our body starts saying, okay, well, let's secrete some human growth hormone to start preserving body weight. So what happens is you get that nice little surge of it. But then you wake up in the morning, generally we have breakfast, and we shut down that mechanism. Because as soon as we eat, the growth hormone levels start to drop. So you can see where I'm going with this. If we start fasting, we can extend the life of that growth hormone secretion, which allows us to build a little bit more muscle and keep a little bit leaner. The only caveat is the calorie intake is not there to support the healthy muscle growth. So we have to time our meals accordingly. That's where we get into the 2 different kinds of intermittent fasting that I want to talk about for 2 different sets of people. The first one is called a full day fast. And basically what that is you're gonna pick one day out of the week that you're gonna fast for the entire day, like 24 hours. You're gonna get up, you're not gonna eat, you're gonna drink water, you're gonna go to bed hungry, probably. But the thing is, this has a lot of positive effects in the way of cellular inflammation. It gives your digestive system a break. Now, it may not be for those that are trying to build copious amounts of muscle, but it's really good for those that are trying to stimulate recovery, trying to keep their bodies healthy, trying to give their digestive systems a break, and basically allowing the body to just relax, because digestion takes a lot of energy. But the other benefit out of this is you get that full additional 24-hour period where you've got an extra amount of growth hormone secretion. So this is great. If you're not carrying a large amount of muscle mass, but you're trying to stay ripped, you're trying to stay lean, or you're trying to achieve a little bit of weight loss, this is the perfect plan for you. It's good for someone that is already an athlete. Because the thing is we have caloric needs, especially as athletes. So you don't want to constantly be fasting every single day. So pick one day out of the week that works really well for you and try a full day fast. Just keep the water intake high and make sure you're still working out as normal. Now, the other method is called a daily fast, and this is probably the one that you've heard of more likely. This is where you fast for like 16 to 18 hours and then you basically binge for like 6 or 8. Now, when I say binge, I don't mean you're eating cookies and crackers. You're trying to eat the right kind of foods. But this is something that you do every day. Now, you still get the benefits of the elevated human growth hormone levels, but not to the extent that you would get with a full day fast once a week. This daily fast allows you to capitalize more so on insulin levels. So basically what you're doing is you're reducing your caloric intake to pretty much nothing for a 16-hour period of time. Then you're likely going to want to go to the gym at the end of your fasting period. Then you're going to break your fast with your post-workout meal and eat for a few hours. So what you're doing is you're capitalizing a little bit on the elevated growth hormone levels, but you're also capitalizing on a high level of insulin sensitivity, which means when you do eat, your body's going to latch onto what you're eating and it's going to absorb it. It's going to likely allow you to recover a little bit better. Now, additionally, with a daily fast, it allows you to stay a little bit more focused throughout the day. This kind of program is great for business people. It's great for people that have busy lives that don't want to focus on eating every 2 hours. So it's something that you could do every single day, never really have to worry about eating those meals, and it allows you to really get that focus. Your body gets very focused, your mind gets very focused, and you can usually get a lot more work done in this kind of mode. However, if you're trying to get super ripped, it's probably not going to happen with this method, simply because the rebound effect when you do start eating is pretty intense, and it a lot of times keeps you from getting super lean. But guys and gals, at the end of the day, I gotta be honest with you. Intermittent fasting is great because of the adherence to the diet. People find that when they go through an intermittent fasting program, they get results because they can adhere to the program better. The meal prep is a lot easier because you're not having to pack meals all day. It's just flat out easier to stick to the program because you're not constantly worrying about food. But when it gets down to the wire and you're trying to get that last couple % off, it's definitely not going to be the best way to go. So there you have it. If you're looking for a way that you can maintain muscle, keep those growth hormone levels high, and still be able to enjoy your life a little bit, which is really the ultimate balance, then checking into one of these intermittent fasting methods might be the best way for you. So as always, keep it locked in here on this channel, and I will see you in the next video. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions regarding intermittent fasting. See you soon.